Oh, welcome back. Episode 3, the NUWAVE podcast. I'm your host, Alpha, aka I didn't come up with anything for this episode, but we back, baby. NUWAVE podcast coming at you with the good music, the good conversations, and the good vibes all around, y'all. You know we had to come at you with that, but let's get right into it, y'all. So this past week, I've been a little stressed, to be honest. I've been thinking about what do I want to talk about on the podcast, who do I want to have on. And instead of, just talking about some random topics, having some random people on the podcast, I decided, for episode 3, I want to talk to y'all, And for the topic, I want to dig a little bit deeper, if you haven't already noticed by the title of the video, you know what I'm saying? So without further ado, let's get into it, right? The allegory of the cave, right? What is the allegory of the cave? So this was something that was created by a philosopher named Plato, right? If you don't remember from history class, Plato was a philosopher who studied under another famous philosopher named Socrates, right? Somewhere along the line, Socrates got assassinated just for being a forward thinker and just for regular reasons why the government assassinates people, basically. So in response to this, Plato obviously was, very taken aback by this, and in response he created this allegory to kind of like explain like how and why these things kind of happen, right? So before I get ahead of myself, let's take a look at what we're going to be talking about here. Okay, so what is this? What is going on? Like this looks hella weird, bro. Like what's going on here? All right, let me explain. So this is this is a lot too. It's gonna be kind of a long one, but just bear with me here. Just bear with me. So we're gonna start explaining this at the bottom of the cave here, right? If you look towards the bottom left of the picture here, you see 3 people, right, sitting down. They're chained to the side of the cave. They can't move, right? All they can see are the shadows on the wall, right? So the way this allegory starts, it explains that everyone upon birth starts at this level right here, right? Everyone starts here, right? They only know what they're shown, right? And they believe that to be reality, right? Even though it's not reality, obviously, these are just shadows, right? This is all they know. Everyone starts here in life. So this is so what is this saying? What is this saying in a deep sense, right? Let's come back. Let's come back. So what this is basically saying is that like as a child, as like a baby, like your whole reality is only what you're shown, right? You don't have enough depth, enough knowledge to kind of look deeper and see for yourself what's what, and everything is just kind of what you're given, right? So let's go back. Let's go back and kind of look at it one more time. So the way the story goes is this, right? One day, someone makes it out of the cave, right? If you can look towards the end of the cave here where they're coming out, they figure out a way to escape the cave, right? And as you can see, this man's climbing up right here, and his let me cut back to me real quick. As you can see, his hand is like covering his eyes because it's blinding. The light is blinding because they're used to this artificial light in the cave, right? This campfire, as you can see right here, in the middle. And as they escape the cave and start to see more of the truth, it's blinding. It's not something that they're used to, so it hurts his eyes, right? This is also very symbolic, because a lot of times when we're faced with the truth, a lot of times it conflicts with the reality that we're comfortable with. We have this natural response to where when something goes very against what we're used to and what we've accepted as our reality, it's uncomfortable, and our natural reaction is to shield ourselves away from it. So as you can see, right, in the picture here, he's taken aback a little bit by the light because he's starting to see what's really real instead of what he's known to be real, his whole life, right? So this is just very symbolic, and I honestly just had seen this allegory recently, and it kind of struck me in this great way. And it's really a concept that I've honestly always somewhat understood, when talking to people about certain topics and seeing their reactions, because we've all had those times where, we're talking to people and about, whatever topics, and, we get this reaction, right? This immediate, the walls are up, and, they're just attacking you for honestly no reason, right? The reason being is that you're challenging their reality, right? And you have to be aware of this, right? The reason why Plato came up with this allegory in the first place is to illustrate this, because the reason why the reason why Socrates got killed and assassinated was because he was a forward thinker, and he was bringing ideas to people. He was bringing these ideas to these people that they weren't ready for, right? And it was almost scary to them, to even think about the type of things that he was bringing up, because this is ancient Greece, right? And they're talking about philosophy, and they're talking about all types of shit that at this point, like, a lot of people just weren't ready for. And this is the reason why he just got killed, and a lot of people have gotten killed in history, right? So let's go back here and just dissect this a little bit more, right? So as you can see from the top here, right, they made it out of the cave, right? And when they make it out of the cave, or whatever you want to say, when they make it out of the cave, they finally see the truth, right? They finally get to see everything that they've only been able to see as shadows in the cave their whole life, as reflections. Now they're seeing the real thing, and, they get used to it over time, and they come to know this new truth as reality, right? So the way the story goes in the allegory, he comes back to the cave, right? And he tries to tell the people in the cave, he's like, hey, like, you gotta get out of here and see this. Like, this is crazy. Like, these shadows aren't real. They're just reflections. You have to see what's really real. And upon coming back to the cave, his fellow, cave dwellers that were in there, refused. They refused to accept this as the truth, because their truth are the shadows on the wall, right? And the way the story goes is that they end up killing the man who comes back to the cave, right? Who knows the truth, because they refuse to accept this, instead of the reality that they choose to accept, right? Whoa, it's already very deep, y'all. It's already very deep, and this concept, this theme that we're talking about here it encapsulates a lot of different things, And if you're like me and you're a deep thinker, you've definitely run into times like this where you try to relate your perspectives to people, and you're just met with varying pushback, because it's not something that they're ready to accept. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not obviously I'm obviously speaking from the context of a place where you obviously would know a deeper perspective on something that somebody else would, right? You know what I'm saying? But I digress. This allegory, I only recently stumbled upon it, but I figured it would be a really good jumping off point, to talk about some more stuff like this on the podcast, because really this is the type of stuff that I wanted to talk about, initially, right? These are the type of conversations that I really want to be having, So yeah, we're gonna start with this, and I think this just kind of paints a really good picture of just, and it just makes you think, like, okay, can you handle the truth, right? What truth do you accept, and then what really is the truth, right? Because even a deeper level of this is really, okay, well, in hindsight, right, how do I explain this, right? Because it's very it's very complicated, because in a weird way, right, you can say that the shadows are just as real as the outside, to each person, but it just depends on your perspective, and it just it's just so deep, because it's just you have to as a person decide, do you want to see what's behind that curtain, right, or not? Because we know that as soon as you do, there's no going back, right? We know as soon as you are this guy who sees the real truth and goes outside, he's never going to go back in, right? So it's a point of no return, which is what's really scary about the whole concept, when you really pontify and think about it, it's really just setting the tone for a lot of different topics that we're going to be talking about. But Yeah. Um, Let me know what y'all think. I could have gone a lot deeper into different little things, but I just want to do a broad, you know, bare bones explanation of kind of what's going on here. And I didn't really want to ramble too much. But we're gonna be coming back with different topics in this realm because, like I said, like to me, this is the stuff that intrigues me the most. You know, I like finding the new perspectives and, you know, really just finding my truth, because everyone's truth is going to be different, right? That's I feel like that's another thing to take away from something like this. The fact that there's no objective truth, you know. I mean, there are objective truths, excuse me. But people's truths are going to be subjective no matter what, you know what I'm saying, in certain contexts, right? So, yeah, y'all. It's kind of a lot. It's kind of a lot, but like I said, this is just going to set the tone. And this is really just more kind of like a warning, right? It's like kind of like a warning, honestly, you know, moving forward. You know, we might be talking about some things that might challenge the way some of y'all think. You know, it might challenge some of the ideas that y'all have had for a long time. So, you just have to decide whether or not you want to be open minded and try to, you know, maybe at least understand the different perspective, or do you want to be closed minded and stick behind your curtain and repel the new ideas that might challenge your original beliefs, you know, or perspectives, any of that, you know. But yeah, I think I think we're just gonna end it right there. It's a little quick one. I don't know how long we've been going, but appreciate y'all for watching. Please give me a like. Go ahead and subscribe because we're gonna have more stuff like this coming. You know, music as well. There is a single on the way. Don't tell nobody. I'm gonna be releasing in the next week or so. You know, I've been doing a lot of tinkering to that, but stay tuned. But yeah, thanks again, y'all, and